my name is Meital and I'm from sunny Los Angeles, but like many of you I'm sure, I was dreaming of New York City, and I wanted to make this video to help you guys who are going through the college audition process, and I wanted to kind of tell you how I went about the process, specifically for NYU for musical theater. I'm going to be an incoming freshman in the fall, and I'm going to be attending NYU Tisch to pursue a BFA in musical theater at the new studio on Broadway. And this is just kind of my process and any tips and tricks I have. So if musical theater is your passion and you want to study it at NYU, this video will certainly be helpful. So first off, I would like to explain Tisch and kind of how that works. So NYU Tisch is the art school at NYU, or the main art school, and then there's Tisch Drama, which is a school within Tisch, just for drama, and then for like another subcategory of drama are the acting studios, and there are, I think, 8 underclassmen ones and 2 upperclassmen ones that you audition into later on, or that you have the option of auditioning into it later on. And then there's one musical theater studio, and that's what I'm in. I'm in the new studio on Broadway. It used to be Cap 21, but now it's the new studio on Broadway. And that's where you get your BFA in musical theater. That's like the musical theater training versus like the other ones are just acting, straight acting. So yes, so NYU was my dream school. I never thought I would get in. It was just kind of a far off like thing, and I was like, oh yeah, NYU, that could be possible. But it turned out to be the biggest dream come true, and I got in and it was the best thing ever. So a little bit about the process. I auditioned for 22 schools. I didn't originally plan on auditioning for that many. I did a lot of walk-ins, but I did 22 schools. I went to New York Unifieds and LA Unifieds. I did a lot. It was crazy, but it was the best experience ever, and I want to share as much as I can with you because I feel like there aren't many videos on musical theater auditions for college, so that's what I really wanted to share with you guys. So NYU has requirements for the audition, specifically for the musical theater audition, and I think you have to sing 32 bars, contrasting songs. One is at least like musical theater, one's musical theater, and then the other you can choose musical theater or pop rock. And you have to do 2 contrasting monologues that are 1 minute, I assume. For this whole process I had different cuts, but I think those were 1 minute cuts. And then there's an interview process as well while you're auditioning for acting. So I chose my pieces over the summer before the fall of my senior year, and that just made it easier to train. I worked with coaches over the summer and just kind of in the beginning of the fall to train before auditions, before I sent in pre-screens for some schools. NYU doesn't have a pre-screen process, but many schools do, so I sent in a bunch of pre-screens for those. So I'll start off where I auditioned. I auditioned in Long Beach, California. It's about an hour outside of LA, and I auditioned the Monday after LA Unified's finished. So LA Unified's finished on Sunday, and that morning after, I woke up at like 6, and I drove out to Long Beach, and it was at a hotel there, and they had a whole setup, like the entire, I think like 2 or 3 floors were set up for NYU. And there were like 15 kids with me auditioning for musical theater, and they split us up into people who are acting first, or acting and singing first, and dancing first. So at the audition I did my acting and singing first, and then I sang afterwards. I sang my songs, and in both, and the acting part included the interview too, so I had an interview, and both parts of the acting and singing were like really workshop-y. They really worked with you on your pieces and gave you advice and saw how you react to them, and how you kind of listen to direction and take direction and work and improve your piece. So I did my monologues, and she worked with me a little bit, and then we sat down and just talked, and the interview was really awesome. She was super duper nice. And then I did the songs, and he worked with me on just kind of what the meaning of the song was about and how I can truthfully portray the character and what she's feeling. If you want a whole video on like the songs and pieces that I picked and like why I picked them and my type, and just overall like the college audition process in general, please like let me know, and I would love to make a video on that because the process is ridiculous. As I mentioned before, I auditioned for 22 schools, so I know the different cuts, I know like what you have to do, but it was the best process ever. I would not change it for the world. And then after that, I danced. I went to the dancing audition, and it was my last one, or the last part of the audition, and they did like a little disco number that incorporated ballet and some improv and just jazz and stuff. So the dance is really awesome because people who are very trained in dance could show off their dance skills, and then people who aren't so comfortable in dance could do that. I'm somewhere in the middle. I would say I'm a dancer, but I'm not a ballerina. I'm not like perfect. I have so much to learn, and that's like the one out of actually singing and dancing that I really want to work on. So the dance process was really awesome for me. I got to improv, and I got to do some tap too, which was fun because I did tap and I liked it a lot. And it was just a fun disco song, so that was really fun. And everybody was super duper nice and friendly. The kids around me, I got to like talk, and I think that's the best part of the process, is like meeting the people around you and meeting the students or your peers that are going to be working with you in the city for the next, I don't know how long after you graduate college. And that was like the best part, really inspiring. And people think that it's going to be competitive or intimidating to be around all the other kids, but like it was so empowering. Everybody around me was so good that I was like, oh, this is amazing. I never felt that once that like I was competing against them. Like it was just so much fun to like uplift each other and support each other, and like it's awesome to like see people who love theater as much as you do. So I auditioned in the middle of February, and I found out at the end of March, so it was not too long of a waiting process, especially since it was one of my last auditions, but some people audition, you know, early decision, so they find out earlier. But how I found out was I found out through the login email portal. I just logged in, I knew it was coming out around 3, and I really didn't care because I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting in, like I'm just gonna check. And it said congratulations on your acceptance to NYU Tisch, and I was like, no way. I freaked out, and so I like got the letter, and it said Tisch, but I literally thought it was fake. I mean, like all the possible options that like it could have been not true was like going through my brain, and I called my mom. I was like, I think I got it. I'm like not sure, and it was a disbelief. It was ridiculous, and the biggest dream come true. So when I looked online, it said that I got in for theaters, but I wasn't sure what studio I was put in, because I selected all studios when I auditioned. You could audition for all studios when you audition, which means you can be placed in any acting studio if they don't think you are fit for the musical theater studio first, or you could just audition for all studios, and they have the ability to put you in any studio first, and then you can transfer on after 2 years to whatever other studio you think would fit best for you. But thankfully I got into the musical theater studio. After 2 weeks I got the email that I got into the new studio on Broadway, and I was over the moon, and that kind of sealed the deal on my decision. I was like, NYU is a dream, being in the city is a dream. It's always been a dream of mine to live in New York City, getting the best training from the best professors and people who were actually working in the city right now, so that'll be awesome. And yeah, that's my process. And I still couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it that I got in. It was the best process ever, and I'm so thankful and so blessed to all my family and friends that have supported me, and my coaches, and all the friends that I made through the process. It was awesome, and I can't wait. Yes! MSP! You can do it. My advice to you all is that literally you can do it if you set your mind to it and you love it so much. So my advice is to pursue it if this is truly what you think you want to do. And impossible things are happening every day, so anything is possible. Dream big, y'all. So here's some more advice on the process, because I know it can be like really intimidating for some people and they're not sure of some things, so here are just some tips that I have. So NYU was one of my last auditions. It was, as I mentioned before, it was like after LA Unified, so I completed most of my auditions. I just had one other audition. I had an in-person UCLA one since I live in LA, so I did that. And then I had some like online submissions to continue to submit because I just filmed a few online ones. So I really recommend saving NYU if it's your dream school to like one of your last auditions, just because, I don't know, I mean it depends, each person chooses to audition for different amounts of schools. Some people choose to do 3, some people choose to do 27, so it really depends on how many you want to do. But in my case, was really beneficial to do it as one of my class auditions, just because I felt the most confident, the most prepared, the most, like, I guess, acclimated to the environment, and just like kind of knew what I was up to and knew my pieces and knew what I wanted to bring to the table and how I wanted to portray myself to the auditors. So that was best. So there seems to be kind of a controversy on like auditioning in New York or in other places in the country such as LA and like the big cities. And I would say in my experience it really didn't matter. I thought it would be beneficial for me to audition on campus in New York, but I visited the campus before and I like thought I knew the campus enough. And I was in New York for New York Unifieds, and I was originally planning on auditioning on campus, but it didn't work out that way, and I don't think it was meant to be. And also, in my experience, at least with the people that I know, there are people who auditioned early decision on campus and didn't get in, and it really doesn't matter. People get in from all over, people get in from video submissions, it like really doesn't matter. So that's my take on it, for NYU at least. So I would say during this college audition process, if you're starting it up, or you have a few years, or you just want to learn more and you want to transfer, I would say that like it really doesn't matter your training or where you come from, as long as you like show them your talent and what you're capable of and how much you love musical theater. And I think that's what really came through, because I've been doing theater my whole life, but I didn't have such ridiculous resources as other people have been training for so long. I just really loved it and just showed them how much I loved it, and I think that's what brought me forward. So another tip is that if you don't feel like you have a really strong theater program at your school, or your friends are pursuing it, or you don't know many people, I'd say like really try and learn yourself and research a bunch and research the schools that you want and why you want them, because that was a big part of the audition process. They kind of ask like why NYU, of course. At the interview they asked me at least why NYU. Like why I chose it as one of my top options, why it was my dream school. So that was awesome, and I just got to talk about that. So I would say to connect it to you and know like why you think you'd thrive at the school versus why the school is the best school. So another tip that I have is auditioning in person seemed to be a lot more beneficial than submitting a video audition or talking online, like an online interview, because it really shows them who you are when you're there. And obviously if you're singing and dancing, it's like easier to watch you in person and just kind of see your passion kind of shine off of you. I would say just throughout the whole process, just really show them who you are and why you want to pursue it, and don't try to be anything else. Don't try to be what they think you need to be. Especially for NYU, they embrace individuality so much. Be you, feel confident in your pieces, just shine and have the best time, because that's exactly what you're there to do. Just show them who you are and show them your individuality and show them why you're unique, and I think that's all I can really tell you. So another tip I have is to be in the moment, especially when you're doing your pieces. You don't have to change them every time, but just really hone in on like what you feel in that moment, and that'll make your piece authentic. And especially in your songs, don't kind of choreograph them, kind of let it flow as you're singing. So I have so many tips and advice on the overall college audition process, but I just wanted to hone in and make it specific for NYU for this video. So let me know if you want me to make another separate video on the college audition process in general, kind of what to wear, my pieces in general, so researching colleges, talking to the auditors, things like that, interviews, audition, things like that, my experience. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.